Lennie James. So, like, we're kind of going back into where, like, we left off with Morgan in The Walking Dead. So, like, what can you tell me about Morgan's evolution from, like, family man to martial artist?
What can I tell you about it? Wow. The transition, I was not expecting that question. So the transition was kind of forced upon him, really. He lost his family and had to do something else, and then he lost his mind, and then he was kind of rescued by Eastman, who put him back together. And now he's trying to figure out how he exists in the world as a man who doesn't kill.
How's that going?
Well, actually,
you're about to find out.
Will we see his son at all?
His dead son, you might.
Oh no.
What is his state of mind? Where is Morgan at this point? Because we've seen him at so many different emotional points.
At which point? At the end of The Walking Dead, or in the beginning of Fear?
At the crossing over point.
He's still trying to figure out, and still is in the process of figuring out who he is and how he's going to exist in the world. I'll give you a heads up. All of my answers are going to be really vague.
And all lies. Other than that, I'm just kidding.
With bringing Morgan over, did you guys want to make the show a little more accessible for fans of The Walking Dead who might be coming in and checking it out for the first time? Or is it business as usual?
Well, the story that we were pursuing in Fear opened the door for Morgan. It wasn't that the story was sort of customized for Morgan. It was when we were talking about Fear and what we loved about it, and where we wanted to go with it. It got exciting to think about, oh, this character would really apply to Morgan, or this story would really apply to Morgan, because we were on episode 13 on Sunday, Walking Dead, but we were well down the line when we were working on Fear. It got confusing at some point, but this was just the perfect place for Morgan to wind up.
So John's a fascinating character, and I just wondered where you drew your inspiration to come up with how you played him. I've seen episodes, so the monologue and everything. Like, how did you get to that character? How did you create?
Well, I don't know. These guys wrote me a pretty great character to start with, but I can't remember how long we were talking about it before. Was it?
It
was a bit.
We had some Negan discussions,
right?
And then as we were talking about the Fear story and other characters were falling in among the existing characters, I just wanted to check on your availability. That's right. And then see if you would be interested in this character we were thinking about.
And I just love the idea. I guess I don't know. I feel like I slipped it on pretty easily. What that says about me. But sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not. This one wasn't a hard one. It's been a real pleasure. So, thanks.
Is there do you feel pressure from The Walking Dead to maybe have more gore in this one, or more drama in this one, or to bring something else out? Are you guys trying to top each other?
I mean, the goal was always to complement each other. And I think the shows are very, very distinct. And I think for 3 years, Fear has been doing amazing work in carving out its own space in this universe. I'd say if there's one thing, it's just feeling more like a shared universe, but to keep Fear's distinctiveness.
So is Alycia having been put in the position of a leader? I mean, she didn't seem like originally that was something she would have ever sought out, and she has truly become one now. How does she feel about that?
I don't think we've even truly seen the full potential of where that can go yet. I think there's a hint of it, obviously, towards the end of season 3, which was really exciting. And you're right, I don't think she saw herself as that person, because it's always been behind the shadow of her mother or her brother. So for her to be in that position is unique and different for her. But then this new season, I mean, it showcases it in an entirely different way. Another very vague statement, but I think what's been amazing with this character's journey is that it just has constantly been stepping up to this level of maybe wanting an expectation of where she should be, and it seems like it's slowly starting to get there. Well, at least for me.
So, two parts really. Firstly, Lennie, can you talk at all about the relationship of how you fit in with the Clark family? And then also for the producers, I understand the aesthetic of the show is going to change a bit this season. Can you talk about that?
Well, I can't really.
vagueness.
I'm going to be vague again. There is a when Morgan comes across the Clark family, he does it kind of. Oh my God!
Yes, that's a tough
Kind
one.
of piece by piece. He doesn't necessarily know that he's meeting a family. He meets them as individuals, and gets to know them in very different ways and under very different circumstances. So doesn't immediately make the connections, and when the connections are made, they are kind of profound, really. But I could be lying.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is Morgan had been watching Fear the Walking Dead.
In his
Huge fan.
downtime.
He's just asking.
He found DVDs of it.
What is this?
Scott, because you're the showrunner on The Walking Dead, and you're working on this one, how do you make sure you complement the show to not kind of carbon copy the show that you previously worked on? How do you make sure it flows but differently from what because you worked on it so long? How do you make sure that this one flows differently?
I think having worked on it so long, being so familiar with it all the way back from season 2, and also just being someone who watched Fear, you ensure that you keep Fear's integrity, that you keep doing things that made it what it was. It was just expanding it out, really, and continuing on with the characters' journeys. The characters are what make the show so different. Greg works on both of them. So there's some things that look, similar because they share a universe, but even then, we want to make sure that they feel like very different places in the universe, very different situations. People have been through different things. I mean, I will say, seeing the first dailies of, I'm trying to be vague too, Lennie and the existing cast, it is sort of a geek out moment. It is really cool, and it to me it felt like they had been living under the same sky the whole time.
Yeah.
It didn't feel strange to me.
And that's really infectious. Lennie brings something to this already amazing show. One thing that the walkers are going to be a lot more prevalent in the show. In past seasons of Fear, we've had so much going on that the walkers always felt sometimes like a little bit of a secondary character, and now they're a bit more front and center. But a bit more.
Yeah, I was using the bite
bit,
word.
I know, the bite. I got it, actually.
Yeah.
But
Joke
I
is
will
good
say,
when you have to explain it.
and you have to explain it, yes. But for me, who's lived in the Walking Dead universe for 9 years, I read the first couple scripts. I was so excited about it that I called Scott immediately and just said, listen, I love where the storytelling is unique, it's different, it's got its own personality, its own style, and I wanted to jump over to Fear as quickly as I could. I had even wanted to try to direct a couple, but everything I'm doing on Walking Dead and editing and then prepping next season, I couldn't find the time to do it, but I was really disappointed because the scripts were so good, and the storytelling, and with the original cast and Lennie and Garret and Jenna and everyone that's part of the show, it gets me excited about it, and so I can only imagine how the fans and the viewers are going to respond, because it's astonishing work that everybody's been doing, and I know you guys who watched it. it's great. I mean, the first couple episodes are amazing. I know some of you are like, oh, we don't want to watch it because we don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you, it's I can't wait for people to see it.
Alycia, with the death of Jake and everybody on the ranch, are we going to see more ramifications of her dealing with people socially in the future?
Oh yeah.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. I didn't even know how to get started with that one. Yeah. Dealing with or not dealing with too well, socially. I mean,
It's not fair, is it? Like,
it's so not
talk
fair.
about it. Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Say as much as you can. We did, we kind of bounced back and forth from her wanting to be on her own, wanting to be with people, and that definitely follows through in this season, but at a much more extreme and sustained level. It's exciting this season. We get to play with time a little bit. That I've been told I can say. So we get to see these characters in different circumstances sometimes, and in different emotional places that contrast one another. So we kind of, we do get to see an extension of that.
Last question. So obviously there are a lot of leaders. You're becoming kind of your own leader in your own right. We have Madison, and then we have Nick, and we have Luciana. So how is that going to work out in this world where everyone's learning to become their own leader? Are they going to butt heads? Can you tell us? Anyone?
That's the biggest secret of them all.
Can you summarize the season for us?
No.
Butting heads?
There is some headbutting,
There's a lot of headbutting?
There shall be
both
headbutting.
literal and metaphor.